Hello, good evening, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live with me, your host, Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. Channel that brings you daily Rangers content updates and everything for free, guys. One of the few channels that does that. If you want that, hit the sub, ring the notification bell, and you will get it every day for nothing, for free, for nada. Anyway, welcome one and all to the podcast. Welcome to our pre-match podcast. Obviously, not pre-match, I suppose. Pre-game? No. Preview. That's the one we're looking for. It's been a long day, guys. Been up since 5:30. We've got my good buddy Snecky Bear in the live chats. Good evening, Owen and the Bears all over the world. Good evening, Snecky. Hope you're feeling good, buddy. I feel Todd will have to watch himself. These guys were looking to take him out. Snecky, I think you make an excellent point there. I think he very much will be targeted by the Servette players. I think he will be. He is creative. He is our top player. He is going to be targeted, and they've shown they're not afraid to get someone sent off, are they? They're not afraid to play with 10 men. They're not afraid to be a bit banzai in their approach. So 100% agree. Glasgow says, good evening, troops. Good evening, Glasgow. David Hutchison also. Good evening, Owen. Good evening, David. Welcome aboard. Well, we stand on the precipice, don't we? We stand on the verge of something huge. We stand on the verge of the game tomorrow night in the Stade de Geneva, or Geneva, whatever you want to call it, in the Swiss, in Switzerland. In Geneva, we play Servette. Servette, it's the first time that stadium is going to be full as well since 2003. Rangers, the first team to make sure that stadium is full. We've got 2,000 fans travelling, official fans. That's the key word there. And we've got 2,000 official fans going to the game tomorrow night. Should be incredible atmosphere generated by our fans out there. We know wherever they go, they take over and they make a hell of a racket. And then certainly have to get behind the boys tomorrow night. We're obviously here to talk about the game. Malky McClellan. Malky, welcome aboard. Good evening, Owen and the troops. Good evening, Malky. How are you doing tonight? Good to have you on board. Guys, I'm going to ask you all to smash that like. It does help when we are promoting the pod. First of all, a massive thanks to everyone out there. We are over 3,000 subscribers now. Fantastic achievement. Thanks to your amazing support, Rangers family. Incredible support. We started the channel back on the 24th of February this year. It's now the 14th of August, and we are at 3,014, I think it is, when I last looked at our number of subs. Thank you for your phenomenal support. Just proves what we all know, what we all believe. Rangers are one of the biggest teams in world football. We have a massive worldwide pull. And I'll tell you something, when I look at my analytics, I look at our stats, we're watched all over the world. Australia, South Africa, India, England, obviously, America. We are watched literally all over the world. In fact, Australia is the second highest watch of this channel. Incredible, isn't it? Thank you very much, Glasgow. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much. Obviously, Glasgow, one of our members as well. Thank you very much for being a member. Well, look, tomorrow night. Tonight is all about us talking about tomorrow night, talking about the game, talking about the starting lineup, talking about how we need to approach it and building up. Now, I think we're very lucky. I think, obviously, on Saturday, we had a good performance by the boys. They performed very well indeed. In parts, I think they started well. They started real well. Obviously, got 1-0 up. Really blitzed attack. Dessa's had some chances cleared off the line. Sifu had his goal disallowed. And then it kind of lulled, didn't it? And we seemed to struggle to break them down. We seemed to struggle to really get at them. And then second half comes, and about 78 minutes, we start making changes. And we made changes before that, didn't we? But we made changes, and the subs came on, gave pace, gave impetus, and really, then we turned it on, and we were fantastic performance. And that Kieran Dow goal at the end was a superb goal. I've watched that from behind. Dow, what a finish! If you get a chance, if you can find it online somewhere, I would put it up on here, but I don't want to get copyright pinged. Watch it, straight behind, smashes it, top corner, amazing finish. Well, one of the things that got me is when Danilo was pushed more centrally on Saturday. I just think we looked quicker, we looked faster, we looked better, we looked more fluid. And I think that's kind of perhaps a hint to Michael Beale that, look, nothing against Cyril Dessers. I'm sure in time he will come right. But I think maybe with him not being fully match fit, maybe now is not the time to risk him in this massive game. Our time is to go out there and really, attack them. And I think Dessers isn't 100% fit. Put Danilo through the middle. I think that is definitely the way forward. Snecky Bear says in the live chat, he says, great that Lunny has not travelled, no chance of seeing him throughout the game. Look, I'm sad. Look, I've got to put this very carefully. Lunny is missing out for personal reasons, for family reasons. I hope whatever the situation is nothing terrible, and I hope that whatever it is gets resolved very quickly. However, look, I don't rate him as a player. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he's good enough to play for Rangers, and he does slow us down. He passes sideways, backwards, he loses the ball, he fouls. He doesn't contribute a great deal, and we look a lot worse of a team when Lundstrom is in the team. So, yeah, I think it is decent that we do, that he is not playing tomorrow night. He will not travel with the squad. Malky says, we can't sit back. We have to win the game. Exactly, Malky. We have to go for it. Look, there's one thing that we can't rely on, isn't there? We can't rely on our defense. We can't rely on defending and holding on to anything. That is not the way forward in this game. This team is built to attack. This team is built to go forward. You look at obviously the substantial amount of money that's been invested in the summer. It's all about actually getting after the opposition. That is the key thing for me. And that's one thing that we definitely need to do tomorrow night in Geneva. And I agree 100% with what Malky has to say there. I think, if we don't win, if we don't go through, we've only got ourselves to blame. I mean, how much will we be kicking ourselves that we missed so many chances in that game at home at Ibrox? We missed so many good chances that we had just so many opportunities to put this game to bed. That Lammers chance goes in 3-0, could possibly then go to 4-5, and it's game over. And this second leg wouldn't be on the knife edge that it's on now. So I think we have only got ourselves to blame if we go out tomorrow night. We've got coming here from Glasgow, says he's played his part, Lunny. Time to go and help out elsewhere, mate. My good buddy Curry says Lunny should only be used when we go to a back three, as it's the only time he has a semi-decent game. I mean, to be fair, Curry, he did play well, didn't he? In central defence. It was St Mirren last game of last season. He did quite well next to John Suter, I think it was, at the end of last season. As a central defender. So I agree, that is true, Curry. But the fact he's only got 1 year left on his contract does kind of make things, necessary to sort out. Do we keep hold of him? Do we sell him? Or do we, offer him a new deal? What's the best way forward? And I think if we can get some money in for him, now is the best time to flog him on. Snecky Bear says, we really have to put our best 11 out right away and score from the start. Snecky, everyone in the live chat, what is your best lineup for tomorrow night? What is the best lineup you've got for tomorrow night? How would you approach tomorrow night? Let me know in the comments. What would be your team tomorrow? We've got Malky McClellan again, comes back with this fantastic comment. He's spot on with this comment here. He says, I hope so. It's a £5 million game. Yeah, look, whatever happens now, whether we go through, and if we go through, and even if we lose to PSV, who it looks like it will be in the next round, given the fact they're 4-1 upon Graz. It's £5 million in the bank. It's a £5 million prize for getting through. We lose, we go to the Europa League. Technically, nothing to lose. It's definitely a £5 million. It's definitely something we've got to win and get through. Curry says, thing is, Owen, how many times will we use that system? Yes, we definitely need to try and get money for him. I agree, Curry. We seem to use three more as a kind of accidental kind of drift into a three. We don't ever seem to set out as a three, do we? We seem to always set out as a back four with Tav, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, or as it was, Tav, Suter, Balogun, Barisic on Saturday. We never seem to ever set out as a three. We never seem to start as a three. And in fact, we didn't really use a three in pre-season. We never really experimented with it. You've got to ask the question, how many times are we actually going to run that formation out there? And look, you don't want to be chancing it against Servette. You don't want to be chancing it against PSV in the next round. And you certainly don't want to be chancing it on the 3rd of September against Celtic, do you? You don't want to be putting us in a position where we're trying something out for the first time. It needs, if you're going to use it, you've got to sort of use it in pre-season, experiment with it, see how it goes, see how it works. And I agree, Curry. Yeah, I don't think we're going to use it enough to justify keeping hold of him. And I think at the end of the day, we do need to get some money from him. You look at a situation where Kemar Roof, Borna Barisic and John Lundstrom are all entering their last years of their contracts. And do we really want a situation next summer, where we are sat in the same position as we were this summer with Kent and Hollander and McGregor and Arfield and all those players, Morelos, walking for nothing. I know McGregor retired, but the other four working for nothing. We get no fee for them, despite the fact we paid money for them and we've paid them wages over the years, and we get nothing back for them at all. You probably could have got 15, 16 million for Alfie a couple of seasons ago, 7, 8 million for Ryan Kent a few seasons ago. That's 22, 23 million pounds in the bank, all useful money, especially as it is that we seem to be using the player trading model. So, hey, we can't afford to just let people walk. I agree. Curry's got his lineup out there. Let's have a look at Curry's lineup. So Curry says his lineup is Butland in goal. I think Butland obviously picks himself. Tav, Sutty, Leon, and Borna Barisic. So Curry is controversially dropping Connor Goldson, who Michael Beale revealed in his press conference earlier, along with Ryan Jack, is available for selection, and he's going with Leon Balogun. I mean, Balogun did have a very good game on Saturday against Livingston. Looked solid, looked quick, tackled well, read the game very well. Looked a quality player. But I suppose you've got to temper with the fact it was just Livingston. And there's something you'll never, ever see very often. Curry picking Borna Barisic. Boring Borna Barisic, as he calls him, or boring Barisic, whatever he calls him again. I can't believe it, but Curry, you've shocked me to my core. Then he's gone for a midfield three of Sifu, Raskin, and Jack. See, Jack will hold. And then we've got a situation where Raskin and Sifu can break forward. I would imagine Cantwell just in behind Danilo and Dessers. So Lammers is dropped from Curry's team. So that's an interesting team. Glasgow says his team is Butland, Suter, Balogun, Tav, and Borna. So we've got, again, a back four there. He's going with Cantwell, Cifuentes, and Raskin, the same three as Saturday, not playing Ryan Jack. I presume keeping Ryan on the bench if we need him. And then a front three, the same front three as Saturday with Lammers, Danilo, and Dessers. I suppose the argument for that is we do need to give this team more time to gel, more time for that front three to start to work together, and also I suppose for Dessers to get his match fitness. I mean, that is the only issue, the fact that Dessers is not match fit, but that is an interesting lineup nonetheless. Malky says, I think he will play the same team as Saturday, only change will be Goldson and Jack. I presume you mean Goldson in for Balogun and maybe Jack in for Cifuentes, maybe. That I think maybe the most obvious choice with Cifuentes to come off the bench to provide impact, Malky. Is that what you're meaning by that formation? Look, I've also seen a suggested formation where we've got Butland in goal, Tav as your fullback. I'm going to try and put this into the live chat. Let's have a quick look. So this is what I've seen suggested online on another Rangers website was a formation of Tav, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, and then a midfield of Sifu, Jack, Raskin, and then Cantwell and Seema and Danilo. That's another team that I've seen suggested as well. What else have we got here? Scott says in the live chat, he thinks same team as last Wednesday. He thinks the exact same team. Sean Masters, Al Atifak 2, Al Nasser 1 live on Dazen, 168 minutes into the game. Sean Maxwell, I hate Dazen. They stole £150 off me. So I hate Dazen. That's the lineup that I think I saw. Now, would you want to see Seema start? Seema provided a bit of width, a bit of extra width to the team. Do you want to see perhaps Seema start as part of a front three, maybe with, Lammers in behind, or Lammers to one side, Seema to the other side, and Danilo down the middle? Is that something you'd like to see, with obviously then a midfield of Cantwell, Sifu, and Raskin? Is that another possibility that we could use? Tam says, same team as Saturday, keep the momentum going. I think obviously that is always an argument, isn't it? You've got to get the bit of consistency to this team. It's very early days. We're not very far into the season yet. So yeah, definitely, give them an opportunity to keep that momentum going, keep building on what we saw Saturday. Maybe that's the way forward. Curry says, Seema is an impact sub for me. His pace late on in game works well. So I think, again, Curry, that's a good argument. We saw on Saturday, didn't we, that Seema was very, very effective from the bench. He was, he did very well coming off the bench. Him and Matondo definitely, did that. And obviously, Rabbi Matondo is not available for selection tomorrow night. He was not in the European squad. When the European squad was being selected, him, Lawrence and Roof were all injured. So were not selected. RRM says, good evening. Evening, RRM. Hope you're good, buddy. Snecky Bears team. Here's Snecky's team. Snecky says Butland, Tav, Goldson, Suter, Sterling. So he's dropping Borna Barisic. I suppose you could argue that Borna's probably had his best 2 games against Servette and Livingston. Would you drop someone who's played really well in those 2 games? Do you drop a form man? Question. Sifu, Jack and Raskin. Then Cantwell in behind Seema and Danilo. Interesting shout from Snecky there. We've got Scott saying Seema last 20-25 minutes. I agree, Scott. I think that's a good shout. Watch this, troops. 1-1 in Geneva with Dessers getting the goal. So there you go. There's Tam's prediction. He says it's going to be 1-1 in Geneva and it's going to be a Dessers goal. So go and get your money on that, guys. Go and get your money on that. Sean Maxwell says, what do you think is going to happen to Scott Wright? Will he stay or will he go? Now, at this moment in time, it looks like Scott Wright is staying. Why do I say that? Well, apparently his move to Pendixspor fell through, as I said on one of the videos the other day, over costs. It seems Pendixspor are unable to afford the targets they looked at. Scott Wright is a Rangers player for the foreseeable future. I think that he will probably stay until perhaps January. We may be able to shift him on in January, but at the moment, it doesn't look like there are any takers for Scott. So I think Scott will still be here come January. So I do think Scott will be here with us through the first half of the season. Look, as I've said on previous videos, Sean, I've said that we want to ship players on. Of course we do. You know, there's lots of players we can all name that we want to sell. But until you find someone who's willing to pay the money for them, who's actually willing to take a gamble, you're not going to get rid of them. So unfortunately, Scott Wright, I think, has failed to live up to, what we expected from him when we signed him. So at the end of the day, I think he'll probably stay. He'll stay now at least until the summer. RRM says Dessers needs a rest for his own good. He's still way off the pace and it's not doing him any good when he is struggling with fitness. I agree with you, RRM. He doesn't look fit. He doesn't look good to go. He does look off the pace. He looks sluggish. He was trying first half, and I think then he just ran out of steam. He didn't seem to be trying as hard second half, and I think that's why he got hooked. But I just think that's not his fault. He's not fit. He's not good to go. So there we go. Tam says Wright will be great in the SPFL and the Cup games if we keep him. That's a good shout, Tam. He could be. Definitely. Curry says he's off to watch the Man United game. No problems, Curry. Not a problem at all. Enjoy the game, buddy. Malky says he will be sitting on the bench and seeing his contract out. That could be what he's aiming to do. And obviously then move once he is out of contract and then he gets all the money, doesn't he? So that's probably why he's going to do that. Snecky says, I think we will get another 2-1. Danilo and a pen from Tav. Those 3 immortal words, Snecky. Penalty to Rangers. The 3 words that cause a timplosion across the city. Penalty to Rangers, but a decent shout there from Snecky. Dessers gets in good position, so he knows what he's doing, says RRM. He does, but I think, like you said, RRM, he's not fully match fit. He's not doing himself any favours. He's just going to damage his own confidence, and he's going to get more and more frustrated. And I think the issue as well is you're going to start to get fans turning against him. We're already seeing some fans starting to turn against him. So, look, at the end of the day, yeah, I agree. He does need a rest. I personally wouldn't start him. I would personally start with this team. This is my team. I'm going to put it into the live chat now. Unless I've actually got it on my snaps. Let me just quickly check if I've got it on my brand on here. Is this the team that I've chosen? Let's have a quick look. Yes, this is it. This is how I would line up tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, I would start with Butland in goal. I think obviously Butland's been fantastic since he pulled off a couple of really good saves on Saturday. Did very well. Tavernier will start. Look, whether Tavernier is undroppable or not is a whole new. It's a podcast to itself. So I'm not going to get into that argument particularly tonight. Goldson, Suter, and Barisic. I think in terms of the back four, it kind of picks itself there. Jack, I think, isn't necessary. We need him there to guard the back four, to drop in, to cover for the fullbacks when they go forward. He was exceptional, I thought, on Wednesday night last week against Servette. I thought he had a brilliant game, and I think Jack has to play. That then gives license to Cantwell, Raskin, and Cifuentes to really attack and get forward and support those front two. And that's something we definitely need to do. And I would start with Danilo and Lammers up front. I thought we looked quicker, more fluid with Danilo through the middle. Danilo kind of drifts in and out a little bit when he's on the left. So I do think put him centrally. Lammers and Cantwell can sort of buzz around behind him and create for him. That's how I would line up tomorrow night. And you might look at that and say, thank God you're not picking the team, Owen. It's an awful team. But that's how I would line up tomorrow night. Tam says, how dare you, Curry, dropping us from Man United? It's okay. I'm a Newcastle man too. Never mind, Tam. Bill obviously knows what he's doing, says Snecky Bear. Absolutely. I think we will beat Servette 3-0, says Scott05. I would love that, Scott. That would be a fantastic result for Rangers tomorrow night. Yip Owen, I like the look of your team, says Tam. Thank you very much, Tam. Sean says, I hope it does not go to extra time because I think the team has got more damn to go on and win. I'm going 1-0 Rangers. Yeah, look, the other thing obviously is that hopefully doesn't go to extra time and penalties. They've had practice for that. They've shown they can cope with that. Look, realistically, do we want to be going to penalties? Do we want to be? It's a tough one. It's a tough one, isn't it, Sean? Team looks all right, Owen. Thank you, Malky. That's a decent shout, and we have options on the bench if it's not working. Yeah, that's my idea, RM. You've got obviously Dessers on the bench, you've got Seema on the bench, you've got Scott Wright on the bench, you've got Hadji on the bench. You know, it's an obvious one. Now, question for you guys: what do you think's happening with Yanis Hadji? Look, I would have loved to have seen Yanis on Saturday. You know, I think that game was set up for Yanis. Yanis is very talented with his passing. He's very incisive with his passing, especially against teams who field that low block. You know, bring him on. His passing could open doors for us. You know, is he someone we need to be looking at? You know, and I think using off the bench tomorrow. Yes, I think he is. And I think obviously it depends very much how it's going. But I think if you're in a situation where we're frustrated, we're not generating a lot, we're not creating a lot, then maybe it's time for Hadji to come on. I'm not saying, but put Hadji further back. You know, when he played further back in pre-season, he looked very effective. So for me, Hadji's got to be an option from the bench. I do think that is an opportunity. I do think that is something that could create opportunities. I do rate Yanis as a player. I think he's very creative, very skillful, very, very talented. So yeah, I would like to give him, let's see him, get an opportunity for definite. Sean says, but I don't fancy the team's chances against PSV at the moment. I think we need to improve big time. What have we got here? Yeah, absolutely. I've done that comment. Malky in the live chat says he may play tomorrow night. He might. You never know, Malky. We might see a bit of Hadji. Hadji's always been rank. He's turned into a superstar since he's been injured, says Stephen. So Stephen doesn't actually rate Yanis Hadji. Personally, I do, Stephen. So I respectfully disagree on that one. Lol, maybe Victoria gave Hadji options. Maybe. Hadji's a professional. He knows they have new players and he will get his chance when the time is right, says RRM. Glasgow says your team makes sense, Owen. I feel we will win. I think Yanis is on his way back. Just needs minutes, in my opinion. I think that's one of the key things. You know, he is obviously lacking match minutes. He is lacking match fitness. Again, you know, the season kind of ended, didn't it, at the wrong time for Yanis Hadji. He was coming back. He was getting back to form. He was getting back into his match sharpness, and then the season kind of finished. It was kind of like the wrong time for Yanis. So, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to look at it and say, well, hopefully he gets a few more minutes. He gets a few more opportunities to really impress in this coming season. You know, in the league and even perhaps in Europe. He is quite effective in Europe. He does play well in Europe. So hopefully we can see him. Now, Michael Beale obviously spoke earlier about Rangers' opportunities and Rangers' chances of progressing on what they would do tomorrow night, and he was very forthcoming with what he was hoping from the team. It wasn't just him that spoke to the media. Also, Ryan Jack spoke to the media as well. He was up there with Michael Beale speaking to the media ahead of the Servette game. What did Michael Beale and what did he have to say? Well, Michael Beale was very much, very positive in what he had to say. He said that it's a huge game, and we knew that Servette had a great game here in the last round. We know it's a full house. We will have a great atmosphere, and we're looking forward to it. He said as well, we know the home team have to win the game, so there will be opportunities if we can win the ball and attack at speed. I expect an open game. We are ready for anything that comes our way tomorrow evening. I think throughout what Michael was saying in his comments, this comment as well he made, he said, it's important we try to win again tomorrow. We want to be positive tomorrow. We are not coming here to hold on to what we have. We know it's an important game for the club, the fans, and for us as a staff. So yeah, he's very much saying that we're going to go after them, we're going to attack, we're going to be positive, we're going to be on the front foot, and we're going to try and win this game. I think, we've got to get the high press on. We've got to put them under pressure at the back, make them make mistakes, generate chances for our front three, and hopefully put a few of those chances away and put this tie to bed early. That's what we need to be looking at. I mean, fortunately, obviously, we've only got Greenock Morton on Saturday. I mean, I say only Greenock Morton, but God knows what will happen. Good evening, Stephen, by the way. Stephen, obviously joining us. Good evening to you, Stephen. Ryan, at the end of the day, Michael Beard is very much talking very positively about how we're going to play. And I agree with him. We've got to go out there tomorrow night. We've got to play positively. If we sit back and invite Servette onto us, if we sit back and defend, if we sit back with two holding midfielders, we sit the fullbacks back in, we're very conservative in how we play, we're just going to invite trouble onto ourselves. Now, I don't know how many of their players will be returning. They were missing 6 to 7 of their starting 11 on Wednesday last week. Obviously, the likes of Crivelli and Antunes. I don't know how many of those return this week. I haven't heard the press conference from the Servette manager, so I don't know, how many of their players will be back tomorrow night. So if we do, though, just sit back and we invite Servette to come on to us, we are playing with fire. We really are playing with fire. Ryan Jack also spoke to the media as well. So we've got Tam here says, let's do this, Jers. Another 5 million in the bank if we get through this tie. And obviously another 5 million possibly from Glenn Kamara and a 4 million from Sakala. That's 14 million. I think that's more than paid back this summer's transfer budget. Hopefully that money will be used to invest in some more players. A centre half maybe or a left back would be a positive signing for me. Anyway, Ryan Jack spoke to the media and he said, every game brings different challenges. We are against a good side who are technically good in midfield. We need to stand up to it. And it's important that we have a go tomorrow. And it just keeps coming across, doesn't it, all the time? We need to have a go. We need to be on the front foot. We need to be positive. We need to attack. I do think we do need to do that. We do need to be very positive. And it's nice to hear, the comments from Michael Beale and from Ryan Jack, very much on the same page. Attack, get at them, push forward, play on the front foot tomorrow. Absolutely key. Warren Smith makes a good point here. He says getting the first goal is crucial. Absolutely. If we can get the first goal tomorrow, take it to 3-1 and Ag, it's going to kill the atmosphere in the stadium. It's like you ain't going to hear the Rangers fans. It's going to dampen their spirits as well. If they get the first goal tomorrow, it'll be completely the other way around. We've got to be tight at the start. We've got to not give away silly chances like we have done in the past. We cannot afford to concede early, because if we give them an early goal, get it back to 2-2 on aggregate, they're going to come at us. They're going to have their confidence up, their tails up. They're going to come out and play. So, yeah, I agree with you, Warren. First goal is absolutely crucial. They'll have the Russian guy back, Russian supporting guy back. I'm not sure that is Scott. Mark says, I'm having my issues with Tav. Seems to me he's pulling rank a bit too much. And I also think he's trying too much to impress the fans, which is making me nervous. Look, Tav's an interesting one, isn't he? He's good going forward to a degree. He scores goals from penalties and free kicks, but his defense is getting worse. Look, I like Tav. I've been a fan of Tav. I rated Tav, but this season he's started the season so poorly. To me, he doesn't look fit. He really does not look fit at all. He looks like he's lacking something. He looks like he's not up to speed. He looks like he's lost a yard of pace, which he didn't have to lose in the first place. So for me, it's worrying. It really is, Mark. It is very worrying, the form of James Tavernier at this moment in time. Stephen Gillespie says the midfield is just mental now. When do Hadji and Lawrence get minutes? I suppose that's the big thing, isn't it, Stephen? It's competition for places. You look at that midfield now, you've got Jack, you've got Sifu, you've got Raskin, you've got Cantwell, you've got Lawrence, you've got Hadji, Lundstrom still there. You've got Bailey Rice, Alex Lowry, who I know he's on loan, but eventually he will come back. You've got a lot of options there. Now, Michael Beale has spoken about the fact that it's a long season. He's spoken about the fact that we will need to rotate, that there are options. So, at the end of the day, I agree with what Michael's got to say. There is a chance, I think, that, that these players will get an opportunity to play at some point. And he said, didn't he, that he wants a smaller squad of 24, 25, so that everyone feels close to the first team and close to the opportunity of playing. So, yeah, I agree, Stephen. The midfield is absolutely mental. Curry's not enjoying the Man United game. Never mind, Curry. We still need a centre half, a left back, and a left winger. Then we are good for a season ahead. So Hugster wants a new centre half. He wants a new left back and a new left winger. I would say a left-sided centre back is more of a need at the moment. That's who I would like to see. Definite left back, I suppose. We've got to give Ridvan an opportunity to show what he can do this season once he is fit. Although my big worry about Ridvan is he seems to be turning into the Turkish Kemar Roof. He seems to be getting injured almost as much as Kemar Roof, or perhaps he's just really sad that his best mate's left and he doesn't want to play because he's upset. I don't know. Maybe could be the case. RM says, I think whoever gets the first goal will go through. I just hope it's us that scores first. It's a momentum thing, isn't it? You score first, you get the momentum, you go with the momentum. You therefore, are on the front foot for most of the rest of the game. So yeah, I agree with you, RRM. It's going to be a difficult one. Curry says, I'm hoping to see Lawrence get a return for Morton game and Sterling in for Tab, who has been pretty dreadful. Can't deny, though, he is a penalty specialist. Yeah, I'd like to see Lawrence get a run out. He is back in training, by all accounts, against Greenock Morton. I'd also like to see Ridvan in there because I think he will be back. That's what Michael Beale said. I'd like to see Ruth get an opportunity as well. I'd like to see us use some of these squad players to see, are they still up to it? How good are they? What could they provide for us this season? And get them some match fitness as well. And I agree with you, Curry. Tav has been pretty dreadful so far this season. And yes, we do need to see Dujon Sterling to see exactly what we've got. He looked good on Saturday when he came on. He has looked good whenever he's come on. So, yeah, I'd give him a run out. Potato Scone John, we are the people, says we are the people troops. We are, John. Absolutely, we are the people. Stephen Gillespie says, Tav got to move into being an option. Sterling and Divine must be pushing. Yeah, you've got to hope so, haven't you? That especially Dujon Sterling, the way that Dujon talked at the start when he was first interviewed, when he was first signed, he talked about coming here to play, didn't he? And getting starting minutes and actually playing a game, which he hasn't done so far. Now I know he's coming back from injury; he had that calf injury, but yeah, I agree with you. We do need to see, some bits from Sterling. I want Sterling in either fullback berth. We can't go with defenders who can't defend, says Hugster 0809. I suppose we kept a clean sheet on Saturday, but then again, it was only Livingston and Jack Butland did pull off some pretty incredible saves. So, yeah, I agree. We do need to refresh the defense. We need to refresh the defense. You look at that defense and the defense that played Saturday, a lot of that, well, apart from Suter, were here when we won 55. So some of them have been here too long. We do need to obviously refresh that defense. I agree, Hugster, with you. We are the people. They are poo. He says Tam. What else have we got? RM makes a comment here. RM says, with Tab, it's simple arithmetic. Does he give us more goals and assists than he gives away? I'd love to see that stat, RM. I'd love someone to actually find that stat. That would be great. Hopefully, progress-wise, we are going to go two up in 20 minutes. Let's hope so. Stephen, a repeat of last Wednesday. Jim Sloan, follow, lads. Follow, Jim. Welcome aboard. Question from Scott05. Davis, stay or go, Owen? Now, I did report earlier on a short that Davis is back in training. He was seen at Ockenhowie on Monday training. He isn't in the European squad, obviously, because he was injured at the time the squad was selected. And Michael Beale has said that he selected the squad with in mind of who was fit at this time. So, yeah, Davis, stay or go. Personally, I'd like to see him sell him, Scott. I'd like to see him sold on for either the same money we paid for him, which was 2 million. We didn't pay 4 million yet because the incentives haven't kicked in. Or if we can get 3-4 million for him, go try and get a little bit more money for him. But I think again, it's just a case of, can we find someone who wants him? Can we find someone to buy him? That's the question. So Scotty, I personally would sell him. Yeah, I'd sell him for definite. Got a comment here. It says, come on, Bears, dig deep and show what you're about. Wear that badge with passion. That's all we want, doesn't it? We want to see them tomorrow. Go out there, fight for passion, fight for this badge. Know what that shirt they're wearing actually represents, and show us what it represents. Curry says you can't sniff at a 4-0 against Livy. It's our biggest win against them since 2004-2005 season when we last beat them 4-0. No, I'm not saying we can sniff it, I suppose, Curry, but yeah, a good result, 4-0. Performance, an average performance, a decent performance, not a great performance. Yeah, but a good win. Lots of people asking how Curry is. I did speak to Curry earlier on today. I haven't need to message you back, Curry. I will get back to you. Mark Grimes says Dujon will start in the Morton game as well as many of the other players who don't start. Yeah, I think that's the perfect opportunity in that Viaplay League Cup, isn't it, to test out some of these players. Curry's on the recovery. That's great to hear, Curry. I would drive Ben Davis to the airport for free, says RRM. Would love to see Davis coaching. He says, oops, wrong Davis. He means Stephen Davis, obviously, rather than Ben Davis. All right, troops, just finished work. Glad I caught the end of the pod. Ewan, welcome, buddy. Welcome. Great to have you as always. Guys, if you're watching the pod, can you please smash that like? Smash that like for me. That really does help. Thank you as well for all the super chats and super thanks we've had so far. They really do support this channel and help to keep this channel going. So thank you for the super chats, super thanks, and all those other things you do to support our channel. It's brilliant. Curry says, what's going on with Glenn? I thought we'll need to bring in another player for that position. Okay, so what I know about Glenn Kamara moving away from the Servette game, these are some assorted tweets from earlier today from people in the know at Leeds United. Update, LUFC Leeds are in advanced talks with Glenn Kamara. 5 million release clause has been activated, reports Joe Tiffany. Then both these tweets are the same apart from the disagreement over the game day. It is a Friday game. Jimmy McCann is an ex-football agent who has inside sources at Leeds. He says Leeds are in advanced talks with Rangers midfielder Glenn Kamara. Hearing this one is very close. Leeds want the deal done before Friday's game against West Brom. Now, if we can get 5 million for Glenn Kamara, that would represent excellent business. I mean, if you think we paid 50 grand for Glenn Kamara and we're going to sell him for 5 million, that is phenomenal business and phenomenal profit on that player. And if you put that 5 million together with Sakala's 4 million, that's 9 million coming in that we can reinvest with them. Curry says, I've done that one, sorry. It's pronounced Green Oak. Sorry, trying Scotsman, my English accent letting me down. Who's Joe Tiffany? Joe Tiffany is a Leeds reporter, a guy who reports on Leeds United. He is someone in the know at Leeds and with the know what is going on at Leeds. That's who he is. Hugster says, congratulations on 3K subs. Owen, well done. Thank you very much. Hugster, we are going to keep going. We want to build and build and build. The aim is to get to 5K subs by next summer. The reason we want to get to 5K subs by next summer is Victoria and I would like to come up and do a live in Glasgow, a venue in Glasgow. So that's who we'd like to do. He thought 5.5. Well, it could be 5.5 million. That was the price that I for Glenn Kamara. So whatever it is, whether it's 5.5, it still represents excellent business by Rangers. If you can get £5 million for someone, you've been 50,000 pounds. That is phenomenal. We've got a question here from Curry. Boy Cooper, any good that's been hinted at? Jake Cooper is a good central defender. He is a very, very good central defender. He is hard. He's solid at the back. He is a no-nonsense central defender. That's the type of player that he is. He, in terms of his height, I think he's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". He's a big old unit. He's someone who is a threat from set pieces. He is a quality player. He's made 285 appearances for Millwall, scored 21 goals. He's 28 years old, so he's in the right sort of frame of your mind. So yeah, I think Jake Cooper would be a good one, Curry, if we get him. Stephen Gillespie, thank you so much for the super chat, £5. Fantastic. Thank you for the donation. Does help me run the channel. Keep up the good work, mate. Who's your front three or two tomorrow? So as I said, what I said to Stephen was I want Cantwell in behind Danilo and Lammers. That's my front three for tomorrow, mate. That's how I would like to see us lined up. Curry says, thank you. Nice one. Glasgow Hilton, lol. 100 times what we paid for Kamara. Excellent business. I think it's pronounced shithole, says Jim. Jim's obviously referring to Greenock or whatever we're going to call it. Morton, let's just call them Morton from now on. But Jake Cooper would be a good buy, Curry, for me. Definitely good buy. But yeah, look, tomorrow night, it's going to be a tough game. We've got to get on our front foot. We've got to get after them. We've got to score, I think, first and then put them under pressure again. I think, if we get after them, if we play as we did in the first 20 minutes last Wednesday, I think we really got an opportunity to really take them and beat them. Look, we showed, didn't we, that first 20 minutes when we went out there, high press, high tempo, quick interchange of passing. At the end of the day, I think that really did that. They struggled with that. They really did struggle to cope with that. So for me, that's how we've got to line up, and that's how we've got to go out there. Stephen Gillespie says, "Me too, Owen. Cantwell, Lammers, and Danilo, absolutely superb." Yeah, I agree, 100%, 100%. She has just got back from holiday in Mexico, so she's recovering from a holiday, Curry. Snecky Bear says they're stronger with 10 men than 11. They did seem to be, didn't they? When they went down to 10 men in the second half, they certainly seemed to be able to defend a whole lot better and even attack a lot better with 10 men. So maybe they practice with 10 men. I don't know. Could do, I suppose. Yeah, but definitely, 100%. This is a team that's, look, what we need to also see tomorrow night is more progress in the right direction from Rangers to show we are moving forward in the right direction. That's what we need to see, more of that. As long as we see, again, I think a more complete performance, even if it's just a 60-minute performance, should be enough to get us through. But something moving forward from Saturday, I do think that Beale will stick pretty much similar sort of lineup again, even though I would like to see, obviously, Jack brought in and Cantwell pushed further forward. I just think if you put Cantwell further forward and play him as that 10, you do have a situation where you do have him. He has freedom. He goes and influences the game. He runs the game. He controls the game. He finds space. He plays good passes in. He takes on a shot. I think Cantwell is just outstanding, isn't he? More goals, says Necky, 100%. RM says, Servette are no mugs. Just ask Genk who thought they would walk over them. Yeah, we did hear the Genk captain, didn't we, talking about how he was looking beyond everyone into the group stages. Look, yeah, Servette will be no pushovers. They're no mugs. They will not be easy to beat tomorrow night. We're not going to go and roll them over. Absolutely. So, yeah, I 100% agree. It isn't going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game. And look, we're going to live stream it here on the channel. If you can come and join us tomorrow, it'd be great to have you on board. It'd be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Mark Grimes says, we should go for 56k, good number for next year. Look, Mark, I would love to be as successful as CJ Novo 992. I would love to have 56,000 subscribers. Guys, if you're watching this and you haven't subbed, please hit that sub. Help me grow the channel continually. Jack in for Dessers and push Canters up, says Stephen Gillespie. Absolutely, Stephen. Curry says, I'm split right now as I'm more concerned about domestic silverware than Champions League. Would even settle for a wee run in the Europa. Look, I think, yeah, you're right, Curry. Look, winning the league is absolutely massively important. I think stopping them from winning the league, stopping them in getting closer to us in terms of number of trophies won is absolutely vital. I agree with you, Curry. Brilliant, good point. And I think the league and the Scottish Cup, if we can come out of this season with a minimum of the league and the Scottish Cup, then I think it will be presented as a good season, a decent season for us. And yeah, a little run in one of the European competitions. My only reservation about Europa League, Curry, is that Sunday, that Thursday, Sunday, and how you're constantly then playing catch up. I do think that maybe because you don't have a baseball cap, Owen. I have got one. I've got millions of damn things. Just haven't got one on at the moment. But yeah, look, it's going to be a tough one. I do think we'll win. Let's have your predictions in the live chat if you haven't already given one. Huckster's going for 1-1 tomorrow with a 3-2 aggregate win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Rangers victory tomorrow. 2-0 to Rangers. Danilo and Cantwell to score for me tomorrow. 2-0 Rangers, go through 4-1 on aggregate to face PSV. Curry Muncher saying either is that, and I think agreeing with the Europa League side of things. Thank you again, obviously, to Stephen Gillespie for his super chat. £5 is most welcome. The money we obviously make does help us to continue to run the channel, so thank you for that. Stephen says 3-0 Danilo, first goal. Might get decent odds on that. RM says 2-0 Rangers, Danilo and Cifuentes. I'd love to see Cifuentes get his first goal, RM. I think that would be absolutely spot on if he could. Now, like I said, tomorrow night, I do hope that it is a victory for us. Warren says 50-50 on penalty shootout. Warren, please, I can't take a penalty shootout. I don't think my nerves after the Europa League final could settle for another penalty shootout. I couldn't take it, Warren. I really couldn't take it, mate. Well, guys, I'm going to call that a podcast tonight. I've got to go and get sorted. I am off to Italy on Wednesday on holiday. There will obviously be a continuing time, even though I'm out in Italy. From Wednesday onwards, I will still be bringing you daily updates and everything as I can. Can't bring you a live stream on Saturday, but I will be bringing you updates daily in Italy. Sorry, 5.K, lol, but 56 would be massive. Come on, Bears, spread the word. Thank you very much, Mark. Mark, I would love, like I said, I'd love to be as big as CJ Nova. That is my aim, that one day we get to that. Jim Sloan makes a brilliant point here. Jim, obviously one of the big supporters of the channel and obviously a member as well. Thank you, Jim. You always support all the Rangers podcasts fantastically well. The league title is everything this season. I agree with you, Jim. It is absolutely everything this season. We do need to win 56. We need to stop them from winning the title again. It's absolutely vitally important. You know, one title in 12 years since 2012, since obviously all that happened, is not good enough. Definitely. Good chat, Owen. Nice one. Stephen says, Italy on holes. Can he hide money, son? Mate, I'm broke, mate. Broke from this holiday. Thanks to my parents giving me some money, I've managed to pay for it. That's how I've managed to pay for it, mate. Not with my money. Thanks to my parents paying for some of it. Even at 45, I still rely on my parents every so often for some money. But yeah, Stephen, Italy, yeah, absolutely. Going to Lake Garda on Wednesday. Should be fun. I'll see if I can spot any players whilst I'm out there to bring back for the famous. That will be a big one for me. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in the podcast. Thank you so much to everyone in the live chat. Thanks again to Stephen for the £5 super chat. Thanks to all of you for your fantastic comments. It's what makes these podcasts worthwhile, is having you on board, contributing your thoughts, your ideas, your comments, your questions. It's the only reason we do them. It's to get you guys involved, to continue. RM says, tell the Pope I was asking for him. And if I see him, mate, I will. Enjoy, bro. Enjoy your holes, Owen. All the best to you and the best of family. Thank you, Snecky. Never mind, players. Bring me back a bird, Owen. Lol. An Italian bird curry. I'll do my best, buddy, to find you one. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to go any further than that controversial point. I'll pass your number on to Victoria. Anyway, okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Two things, as always, I need you to do for me. Number one, please smash that like. And number two, always remember, we are the people.